What's going on, everybody? Chump Change here. We are doing a third episode of the Mining Roundtable. We're here with the Hobbyist Miner and Mr. Red Fox Crypto. What's going on, guys?
Yo, what's up? I can't believe you introduced me last. What's up with that?
Well, you're all the way to the right. It only makes sense, right?
I guess so.
It's age before beauty. You know, come on now. You're the good looking one here. Come on.
Oh man, it's all right. But yeah, I mean, how you guys doing? What's new? I heard you got some graphics cards today. You guys want to talk about that, or what do you want to start with?
Red Fox's fault. No, all right. Yeah, I got a graphics card today. I got a message and it was like, "Hey, check out this card." And I checked it out and I'm like, "Oh." And my first message back to him was, "I hate you." That's all it is. Red Fox sent me over a link to Newegg doing a sale on a Sapphire Nitro 6600 XT, and for $540 USD, I couldn't refuse. So I was like, "Yep, we're going with that." I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sapphire Nitros. I have 12 of them right now, and or 13 actually, and they're by far one of the best cards out there from my perspective with AMD. So that was a no-brainer. But how did you find out about it? How were you tipped off?
I think I checked like an hour ago. You can still get them, but I just go on Reddit, build a PC sale subreddit, every day, and I just scroll through to see if anything posts. And I saw that one, and I had to do a second take on it because I thought at that price it would probably just be a 6600, not an XD. Yeah. So I've been paying some of the XFX. They're up to $650 right now for the XT versions, and I was like, oh man, Nitro, which is, if anybody's listening, that's the top tier AMD period, in my opinion at least. And so I was like, all right, I'm pulling the trigger on this. I wish I could buy 6, but the limit of 1. So yeah, man, stoked on that.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, I wanted it. I still want it, but I'm like, I can't. I just can't do it. I can't pull the trigger. I'm like, I bought so many cards in the past week. It's just bad.
So you said you got what, A2000 shipped finally, right?
Yeah, I'm pissed. So it's supposed to come in today, right? It's supposed to come in today, and yeah, the post office, apparently it didn't show up. So now I'm wondering, is the post office even open tomorrow? Because I think they recognize the holiday tomorrow instead of Saturday. Not. So
you're waiting.
Yeah, now I gotta wait till Monday, and I'm like, well, this is awful because at the time of recording, this is a Thursday night for anybody listening. It's they cut it really close on me. So unfortunately, I'm gonna swing by in the morning and see if the post office is open, but my hopes are not high.
You should use the internet to check their hours before you do that.
Yeah, I probably will. They're only right down the street from me, so it's not too bad, which is nice, but disappointing.
I had to do the same thing yesterday before work race over there because I wasn't gonna be able to get there today because I got stuff from GPUrisers.com sitting over there, and I want to have some fun with that stuff. So the post office, having a PO box, man, their hours are if you don't work from home, those hours do not work well for you.
Right.
Yeah, I've actually because I work from home, I made it a routine. So I go every Tuesday at 11. I hit up the bank. The post office is right near it. I hit the post office. So yeah, if you don't make it religiously, right in the middle of the day, it's a pain in the butt.
Where'd you get your A2000s from, Chump Change?
I don't know if I can tell you.
Was this
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell, actually.
Let me take. Oh, actually, no,
but
I know who it is.
You guys probably know. Yes, you guys probably know the mutual person, but I cannot say because I don't know. I don't have the approval.
I didn't know if it was a CDW or Shop DLT or something like that.
So Mr. Rondi actually ended up getting some from E-Energy over on Alibaba when they came out there, but I know their prices went up, and I don't even know if they have them anymore, to be honest. They're an approved seller, trade assurance, all that stuff. So if anybody's looking for cards, E-Energy is a really good place to go, in my opinion. I mean, they delivered and didn't steal his money, so that's always a plus. But yeah, that's not where I got them personally, but that is where he got his, and he got 20 of them, so worked out.
Some people in my Discord just started getting some of their CDW orders shipping for other A2000s that they ordered way back when that first video from Dizzy Mining dropped. But
Oh, wow.
I'm still waiting. I got one from B&H that has done nothing, and then I put 5 in on Shop BLT, one of the first 100 orders that they have, and they're up to like 10,000 I think now, and that still hasn't moved. So
well, I have
Shop BLT actually takes your payment, correct, before it actually transfers, right?
Maybe I can't even keep track. Like
I thought
it must be nice to have that much money, Mr. Red Fox.
It's that, and then I got stuff pending at Lenovo. I had 2 A2000s I think from them, and then Dell 2 A4000s. It's just like whatever comes in, whenever it comes in, fine. I'll just make it happen.
Yeah.
So I think Shop BLT does not take your money before they send, or before they're in, or before they plan to ship or something. I think they just hold your credit card on file, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what Altered Component told me. But I do have one A2000 from Mr. Rondi, because he's an animal and sent me one as a Christmas gift. Look at how small this thing is, dude. It's so tiny. It is literally the smallest GPU you've ever seen. It's ridiculous.
It's like 42 mega hash at 70 watts or something. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's like 60 watts, and it does like 42. Yeah, I haven't even plugged it in yet. I literally haven't plugged in, but
it does. If I remember, it does pretty good on Raven too. It has pretty good efficiency from I remember some of the early videos. So
we're gonna find out.
I heard the cooling was really good on those as well. Like you don't need to go nuts on atmosphere cooling or anything like that with fans or anything. So that's a huge win.
Well, it's like a isolated like blower style, so it's got
it's style blower.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like if you look at it, it's got like a U in the plastic. It's like a hole right here. You can literally put your finger in, but it's.
Oh yeah, do that again.
Yo, open.
No.
Yeah, why don't you?
I could open this up right now.
I was gonna say, crack that open for us, and let's see if it's as painful as a Founders Edition or not. Let us know.
I don't even care. I'll do it right now. This really. Yeah, I'm not going to take all this apart, but I want to take the front off because I kind of want to look.
Okay.
They give you 2 different sizes, which is kind of neat. So I don't know if this is for like a smaller server case or something, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
That looks like for those like small form factors. They put those in because those are like workstation GPUs.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Do you guys even know what these are actually used for? Like you guys are in the tech field, so you would know better than me.
They're traditionally used for like graphical rendering and stuff, so a lot of people will use those and that do like CAD or that do other types of rendering and stuff. Anything that you need like graphical load on is my understanding, because they're more like a workstation. Do you agree there, Red Fox?
Yeah, I'm curious what % of those are actually going to those type of customers versus
and
like
0.
I think NVIDIA probably knew what they were doing there, so
100%, 100%. I mean, they're all about the whole gamers, right? So
I saw somebody put those in like a server case, and it just seems so silly to me because they're only powered from the PCIe, and they're just like these little things in this monster server case. But I mean, I know one of the things with at least the A4000s, the A5000s, I don't know about those cards. The A2000s got to keep them so cool because that single fan doesn't do a lot. But I think the A2000s are good because they run such low TDP that it seems like they're pretty easy to keep cool.
Yeah, so about the A4000, right? Looking at this card versus that card, the reason I think the cooling's better is because it's thicker. Like this card's so much thicker than the A4000.
Yeah.
It's like half the size. So
I saw that in DJ Mines' video. He was showing them side by side the other day, and I noticed that. And I was really surprised by like, the A4000, larger overall. It's like double the total size, but the thickness is significantly different.
Yeah, it's weird. If they made the A4000 like this, the thing would never have a problem cooling.
So I just spent some time last week. I posted that video just looking ahead at some of the GPUs coming out. So there's like some of the mining edition AMD stuff, and then there's the NVIDIA stuff. We talked about, I think, a couple, maybe in the first episode, I can't remember. The 3090 Ti, the 2060 12 gigabyte, everything else in between. Anything that you guys are interested in picking up from those, just to test or have one or build a rig of?
Not personally for me. What about you, Hobbyist? Have you looked into any of those?
I'm curious on the 2060. I want to take a little bit closer look at that, especially with like flux and stuff like that right now. I'm definitely interested. Just the way that flux has been going, I'm probably going to try to build myself another rig. So I'd rather look at like getting, you know, the new 2060 Ti's versus going with like, you know, trying to buy like additional 1070s and stuff like that. Probably try to get something a little newer. I think it's really just come down to availability. My biggest concern is like, okay, so the 6600s have been really available, which has been great. 6600, 6600 XTs, you know, just like you had said, Red Fox, that they're kind of everywhere at this point. But I feel like NVIDIA will be kind of that, hey, they'll come out all in one day, and then 2 or 3 days later, they're impossible to get. That's my concern there with those. What about you? What are you thinking?
Well, 3090 Ti, I definitely want to get some of those. They're going to look like they're going to perform better than the 3090. And just like the TDP on them, those like 450 watts, which is massive.
I saw that.
I'm thinking, I think I want to do like a 4-card rig of those. Those are the ones I'm really interested just to see. Like they're the best card. They should be the best card, and they won't be LHR, I don't think, since the 3090s weren't.
Oh.
But then I'm curious if I wonder if they're going to do LHR in the 2060s, because it's like an older GPU. You know, they're just bumping up the RAM on it. Like, would they put the time and effort in doing that? And if not, then like that might be something cool just to build a rig of. Not that I have any more power to do any of that.
I was
but
just gonna say.
Yeah, what are you doing? You start shipping some rigs my way.
Yeah, there you go. You could do some hosting for me.
Great.
So do you know what the actual pull on that is? On the like the power draw on those 3090 Ti's? Does anybody like have any idea? Are they like still around roughly 350 or whatever?
No, so you weren't listening, so I'll tell you again.
Sorry, I wasn't. I was trying to take this apart, man. You guys asked me to do this.
Yeah, 450 watts, which is 100 watts more than a 3090.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Sorry to interrupt. Look at the inside of that card. That's insane. It's like nothing to it.
There really is.
Is that just a huge heat sink?
That's just a giant heat sink. It's a fanless heat sink.
Yep. That's it, man.
Nuts. And then it just, okay, so it's fanless heat sink, and then at the butt end of it, it just has that fan, and that's it.
That's it, man. Wow. And this whole case acts like a mini server.
I know, right?
It legit.
Look at how easy that is. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Dude, totally worth it. That's crazy. It'd be so easy to service this thing. It's like, it's literally like 6 screws.
What are those up to now, though?
Cost.
They're pricey now.
Yeah, they were like $700 or something now.
Almost double what they were like the day right before they popped.
Right.
I got some. My orders were in at like $550, I think, on those.
Good.
Right. Yeah, I think I paid $5. I think. But we had to order a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I got like 50 on order.
That's insane.
Disgusting. I'm only keeping 20. Rondy's taking the other 30.
Okay.
I was like, I am not spending that kind of money. I'm like, that's so much money. Like, I'm sure I could, but like, that's just, it's a lot, man. That's a lot of eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? For a card set.
You know, would you consider though, if you kept all 50 and just cycled out other GPUs that these are better than?
Yeah,
that's what I would almost consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like your upgrade, you know.
Sorry, Rondi.
Yeah.
So find out right now.
It's kind of like BBT was saying when I was chatting with him in the last Meet the Miner, we were talking a little bit about his farm, and he had brought up the fact of, because I kind of asked like what triggered you to start to go the ASIC direction, and you know, he just kind of explained the fact of like, this is kind of the next evolution. Like, the farm's been around long enough where now we're starting to replace cards with the next generation of cards. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're gonna move to, you know, ASIC mining, but the other half, he was saying like they're gonna be all the A series, is what he's looking at, which I think is really, really smart. I mean, efficiency wise, and for the hash rate, it's a no-brainer. So yeah, for some of you guys with some bigger home setups, I think it makes sense. So, you know, especially with your other stuff, will sell for a good price. Like you could see your 3000 series cards, you could get a fantastic price for at this point.
ChumpChange, if you were gonna say you were gonna keep them all and sell some other GPUs to like give yourself some room, what GPUs would you sell first?
I would get rid of all my RX 580s probably, just to I don't know, because they just get they're hotter than normal. You know what I mean? Like they just are not. I don't know. They're for one, they're older too. Like that's another thing. The 30 series cards are all basically when I got in, they were starting to come out. So it makes more sense to want to keep those around because they're newer.
Are those 4 gig or 8 gig?
I have all 8 gigs.
You have 8 gigs, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean it's kind of up in the air, but to be honest, if I kept all 50, I probably wouldn't sell any. I would still keep them all. Like I don't know. That's like literally the thing we come down to. It's like you, Red Fox, you know, you come up to a bunch of money when, you know, Firo or Flux pumps and you don't want to sell because you're like, what if? Like, what if it goes more or whatever the case may be? That's just how you feel. Like, you're like, I don't know if I should sell these. And then you just kind of make it work however you have to. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
What's your situation?
I was going to say, there goes the kid's playroom in the attic for the 80,000.
Damn it.
So yeah, Red Fox, I'm just curious on your situation. So you're pretty much maxed out on power, let alone heat as a factor, and we're kind of in wintertime right now.
Yeah.
What's your mindset as you continue to get these cards in?
Well, I can run another 30 amp, so okay. I'll be all right on that. I just gotta do it. But what I have thought about for a while is probably the first ones I would rotate out is the 6700 XPs I have, because they're not great, you know. And then after that, just the 5700s and XPs, although they're better at mining, they're not the most stable cards. It's just kind of a pain. And thinking about you know, what we were talking about last week, just like getting to that sustainability factor where like everything's just running and you can put some mental capacity into something else. Like that's what I would probably use as a filter, is like efficiency, and then what is just giving me problems, because I'll ship those away.
Yeah, I hear
and
you.
those would be before any of my 16 series, I would think, because those things are just workhorses, man. I've never had a problem with those. What about you, Hobbyist? I know you got especially some older 4 gig cards. Like, what would you rotate out first? I know you got rid of some 3090s you mentioned.
3090s? Yeah, you mean R9 390 or 380s?
380s.
Get rid of my. That's all right. You know, get rid of my 3090s. I had a boatload of them. They just weren't doing it. So I think for me, every once in a while I get frustrated enough, and I'll get rid of some cards that are just problematic to me. Those were the R9 380s that I had. I still have 2 of them. One's been problematic. I might get rid of that one here. But the nice thing is, in my situation right now, is the fact of power's not an issue, and cooling isn't an issue right now. So for me, I'm just continuing to add. You know, I ordered that 1 GPU today. I have a few. We'll see how many I come home with after visiting the Red Fox Crypto store. So yeah, I have, and then I am hosting a rig for someone that I'm going to be building in the next 2 weeks or so. So that's another 12 cards. So I'll be adding another 3 rigs over the next 30 days. So a pretty big boost there. And I don't even have my Flux rig down here. It's you know, up in my 4th bedroom at this point. So yeah, I'm definitely, you know, I'll be okay with heat and also with power. That's kind of usually my driving factors right now. I mean, I'm so young in the scene where it's like, I'm not so where you guys are, where it's like, hey, I'm ready to sell off some older stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand. I am already thinking ahead for summer. I'm going to be replacing 3 of my inline fans with 8-inch versus 6-inch that I have. Just boost that and do some testing there for the exhaust. So I am concerned for summer already, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you got right out the winter, man. This is great. I got rigs anywhere. You can do
Except
anything
for like
right now.
today, dude. Like today, it's like 55 in Pennsylvania. Like I got my window open in the basement right now. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, my mining room's like 101 degrees. I mean, it's fine. All the rigs are good and stable, but it's just like I can't stand this 50+ degrees in Pennsylvania at the end of December. It's really stupid.
So is it only me that's thinking that the whole reason for the global warming is because of miners? Like every day I walk out in December and it's still hot, I think that.
Don't encourage them. Don't encourage them. Come on now.
Dude, no. I can't. So what was it last year? And I only had probably 14 GPUs in my garage. It's just a single car garage, and it snowed. and I was leaving for work the next day, and I pulling out, and I looked back at my house, and there's no snow left on my garage roof, but there's snow on all the rest of the roof of my house, and I was like, oh, all that heat.
It's like you see those things where like roofs in the middle of winter, and you see like that one spot on one person's attic where it's like completely, you know, like there's no snow, and it's like, what are they growing up there?
Yeah,
you know?
you're like drug house immediately.
Yeah.
Yep. So I can't wait to see what that ASIC in there this year. That snow has no chance. It will never even accumulate on that roof. It'll just instantly melt.
Oh,
that's crazy.
ChumpChange has encouraged me to put a rig up there. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. I put the outlet the other day up there from a helium miner, so I'm kind of doing tests. Like, I put it in my 4th bedroom window for 2 weeks, see what type of witnesses I get and such. And then I wired up the electric outlet this past week, and I moved it up there, so I'm going to do some more tests for 2 weeks, because unfortunately with helium mining, everything takes like days to see results. Like, I can't stand it. It's like I make a change, and I don't know if it's beneficial for days. So I have an outlet up there now. It's not 240 or anything like that, so I'll just be a little cautious, maybe put some more efficient cards up there. But I'll probably put a rig up there just to, you know, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, an attic is like the ideal space in the winter for a mining rig. Not in the summer. I mean, you're going to kill your rig, but in the wintertime, it's perfect.
Right. Yeah, it's working pretty good for me. I mean, I have it feeding into the furnace, as you guys know. It's literally, honestly, it's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. It was like 80 degrees when I woke up this morning, and I was like, I am dying. Like, I'm like literally taking off my clothes, and I'm like, I physically can't take any more off. I'm like, this is awful. I opened all the windows in my bedroom, and I was just, it was awful. Like, it's just, it gets too hot. I mean, I don't know why it's so hot out. It's
been a warm winter. Unfortunately, it's not like every day is in the 30s.
Right.
All through December. It's been a warm winter, which I think adds that challenge. I think if it was 30 out, I mean, especially where you're located, it should be 30 every single day where you're located, right. And it just hasn't been, and I think that's what adds the challenge.
I'll tell you, I came home from work today, and I walked in the house, and Mrs. Red Fox had all the windows open. There's so much heat coming up from the basement that it just gets so hot with the outside air being what it is.
Yeah.
I think I was talking in the Misfit Mining Gaming channel. I think Panda was in there, I forget, but someone said something about the wife's being cold. I was like, listen, if my wife complains that it's cold in this house, I am burning this place to the ground. There's no chance.
By Shada, and this place will burn to the ground.
Oh my god, it's absolutely brutal. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'll deal with it for the free heat. I mean, it's not free, but essentially, it kind of is. I'm paying for it anyways, and it was just going out the window, so
yeah,
whatever. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to ask you guys. I know we kind of went over, you know, why we got into mining in one of the last episodes. I wanted to know, what was the actual turning point where you were like, I should mine, I guess, but when you heard about it, right? When you first heard about mining, what made you think that this was going to be something eventually? You know what I mean? Like, what clicked in your brain where you were like, cryptocurrency, maybe it's a good thing, instead of just being like everybody else, like, oh, this is fake internet money. Like, I was thinking about that today. I'm like, I really don't know what kind of changed my mind, but I came in so late compared to Red Fox. Like, you were back in the day, you know, you're in the IT field. It's, I don't know. I mean, you started a while ago. What the heck made you think it was going to go somewhere?
It's so weird to me that I'm like the old guy in mining.
You're the OG, man. You and like you know, Panda, like, you guys started so long ago. It was just
it's
blip.
So crazy, because I'm sure anybody that got in when I did, which is 2017, is like, we felt so late. We were like,
right.
Everybody else has been this so long. The thing that makes us
Bitcoin game,
yeah, the thing that makes us the old guys now is there's not many people that stuck around after the bear market and the crash of crypto. But you know, back to your question, like, for me, it was the first time I started to like, oh, okay, I think I get this, and I see like there's a future here, is in this house, sitting down, reading the Bitcoin white paper and learning about mining. Like, that was it. And I just was like, oh, I can generate this. I can't mine Bitcoin, but it says like if I have a GPU, I can mine other things. And I mined like Zcash, I think was the first, which you can't mine with a GPU now anymore either. It's the first cryptocurrency I mined. And I was like, holy SHIT, I just made money with my computer. And that money can go up or down. And then, you know, at the beginning, that's all it was. It's like I just made a thing I could convert to US dollars. And I knew about Bitcoin, but all these other altcoins are like, whatever, you know, they're whatever. And on NVIDIA at the time, Ethereum was not the most profitable. So I was not mining Ethereum at that point. I was just going what to mine, which was around, and just picking the most profitable one. It was a lot of the Equihash coins, like Zcoin. Yeah. So then I just, from there, I was just, okay, let me just stick with this. And then what wound up happening is I found projects that I got to know and be like, oh, I see what they're trying to accomplish here. And that could be a really cool thing. And Flux was one of those, February 2018. Like they want to accomplish some things.
So you started understanding it. I got you.
Yeah. So like, okay, like because there's the flood of just garbage, trash coins that were mineable, just riding the highs of Ethereum at the time and trying to get in. And 99% of those don't exist anymore. So you're weeding your way through the garbage. And then I get to some that I believe in, Zcash, Flux, now known as Flux, Ravencoin, etc. But the whole time it's all speculative, and you know what Ethereum is trying to do, and that's cool, and you know Bitcoin, but you can't really mine it. And it probably wasn't, you know, and so it was just doing its thing, and it probably wasn't until this last November when things just got really insane. And I saw all of that like work and risk pay off, that I was like, okay, there's validity here. Because my whole time in mining was starting, you know, at the time at the top, and then just watching everything crumble. Right. And then watching everything come back up, being like, all right, this is my first cycle. There's something legit here. Then I was like, I'm all in.
Now I have a question.
In on this.
When you started mining, right, was it all manual miners? Was there any like one-click miners that, you know, like Better Hash or Nice Hash? Was there anything like that around? I don't know when they started, but
Nice Hash was around. I never used it. None of the CryptoMiners or any of that like kind of stuff was around. But
when I got in, there was so many options. So that's the only reason I asked.
There was I just ran across it on my old computer. There was a miner called Aio Miner, all-in-one miner, and what it would do, similar to like OCTOMINER does, which I have a video coming out soon on. It's like a interface, and it will just download the proper mining software depending on the coin you want to mine. It would load like, you know, whatever it was at the time, Claymore or Gminer or whatever the mining software was at the time to take care of that for you. But even before I got into that, it was like, all right, let me download Claymore, which was the Ethereum miner at the time, or CC miner, and let me just download that and mine. And that was how I learned in the beginning.
Man, it must have been such a learning curve. Just like,
yeah, dude.
Oh, man.
It's so exciting, though, because like, I know about a thing nobody else knows about.
Right.
And this thing makes me money. And like, I have a computer to do this, and people don't have this. And I had a GTX 1080. Which is like one of the best cards, you know, at the time. I was like, oh my, I'm just like, I fell into this, and I have the setup where I can just literally walk in the other room and learn how to do this and get going. It wasn't like this, I have to like buy things and like, you know, that was it. I have it. I could just go. Let me just go.
Right. But now, did you game on that? Is that why you had that like great card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. I think just like probably all of us, right? Started out gaming. We just had the thing, and we're like, all right, let me just try this. And then here we are making a video on it.
Interesting. So now, Hobbyist, did you learn about crypto way before you started mining, or and like started this channel, or what's your story?
Yeah, so with me, I'd say it was about 2018. Somehow I came across, I'm going to say it now, and it's so bad, Minergate, the website. So I came across this website, Minergate. Have either of you guys heard of it?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so Minergate was a website. It's still around. It's terrible. It was terrible, but it was really cool where, like, I came across it, and it was like, okay, you could, it's very similar to Nice Hash. I didn't know what Nice Hash was, if it was around then, whatever. I just came across it, was like, this is kind of cool. It's a Windows-based application. You run it. It goes ahead and looks at your hardware, determines just like Nice Hash. what's the most profitable coin to mine,
Right.
and then it pays you out in that coin. So it's not like Nice Hash where like you get paid out in Bitcoin or whatever. So I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I had like a spare like old HP tower sitting around. So I set it up and was running it, and I was like, ooh, maybe I could buy up a bunch of these. So I bought like 20 of them, and they were like HP towers that went like used for like $100, and they had like i3s in them if you're lucky. You know, GPUs were integrated, and so I set them up in my basement. I had like 20 of them running, and they were on Minergate, and I ran them for maybe like 6 months, and I had every altcoin under the sun. Like, it was because it paid you out in that altcoin.
Right.
And there was some Ethereum, but I really didn't know what it was then. Like, I didn't know, you know, like I heard some Ethereum Classic was in there. So anyways, lo and behold, I sold all of those, just left everything in Minergate, and then jump ahead back to this past December. I had decided, like, hey, I'm done. It was like November. I decided, like, I'm done with gaming. And not just this past November, the one before that. And I was like, I'm done with like gaming content creation. So I was like, I'm going to wrap up. And I started just then to get my feet wet on YouTube content with mining. So I literally started mining, and I actually started creating content. So if you go back and look, my first video is February 15th of this past year. So I'm a youngin', like I'm the newbie of the group. And my first video, I had a mining Vetaframe, a B250 mining motherboard, and some cheapo risers that my friend had given me like 2 years ago. And he had mined 5 years ago or so. And he made out really well. He mined a bunch of Bitcoin, all that type of stuff. So he was sitting pretty good.
Oh, wow.
And he had given it to me, and it's been sitting, like it moved from house to house. And I was like, well, you guys know how it is with tech. You just kind of hold on to it.
Right.
And so I was like, I want to start a mining YouTube channel. So I started looking into it. Everybody comes across Red Panda, came across him, came across Red Fox, BBT, and Voscoin, Son of a Tech. So I started just like absorbing everything. And it wasn't just like how to do mining, what does that look like? It was also like from the content creation side too, because every genre is different, like going from gaming to like crypto. So yeah, I started February 15th, and I didn't even have a GPU then, and I think it literally, I don't think I had a GPU for my third or fourth video.
Did you just say you didn't have a GPU and you started a mining channel?
Yep,
Did you like take one out of cardboard to pretend?
That's right. So I bought off of Offers Up. I bought an I didn't know. I bought an MSI 970. It was a 4 gig, and I was like, I just want to like see if I can mine. Like, I don't even know if I can mine. So if you go back, my like third video is me all excited about this card. I throw it on Ravencoin. I think I'm getting like 5 mega hash on Ravencoin. And so I just continued from there. But then like a month later, I bought 6 Sapphire Nitro 470s. And then a few weeks later, I bought 6 more. So like I was hooked.
Right.
And I just went and looked. So I started February 15th. My first YouTube, I didn't qualify for a YouTube payment because it had to be like $100 or more.
Yeah.
My first YouTube payment was April. So that was for like the previous month. You guys know how it works. Preaching the choir here. So it's for March. My first YouTube payment was $642.
And you were like, Yahtzee.
And I was like, wait, so I've been doing this for a month, and
damn,
that's how much I got paid. And I had like, you know, I don't know, 1,000 subscribers, 2,000, I don't know, whatever. And
Here
I was
come
like, damn.
on 380. Is that exactly what you said?
Yeah, right. So yeah, so then the following month, I literally went from $600 to $1,700 in my second month, and I was like, okay, it's a reality now. It's like I can take this money and reinvest into the hardware. And for 2 months into content creation, I was like, I've never seen that kind of money with content creation at all.
Right.
And I did the gaming content and all of that. So I think it was a combination of like the mining part of it, but also the content creation. So I constantly tell people, I'm like, I'm a content creator first. I'm a miner second. Miner's just a product of the content creation versus a lot of these old heads like Red Fox here is a miner first, content creator second, I feel like.
Damn right.
I like how you wiggled the eyebrows.
Somebody just went like, they make money on YouTube? Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Absolutely. Oh man, it blows my mind how you started Hobbyist. I can't believe you didn't have a GPU. That literally blows my mind. That's the best. That is the best story.
you had a mining frame and risers and a motherboard when you started?
And I didn't know, like, I didn't know what a B250 was then. I was like, I got this motherboard. I got this motherboard. I'm like, yo, you bet your ass I was. I was like, holy cow. And then, like, as I started to become more educated, I'm like, this is a B250. I'm like,
this is like, really good.
I know, 100%.
Dude, I'm literally fitting GPUs. I'm taking hard drive bays out of my PC and just shoving GPUs in there. This guy's like, I got a mining frame, risers.
I was a Veta frame too back in February. I mean, it wasn't a $25, $30 frame. It was the black Veta 6 GPU Veta frame. So, yeah, I mean, I went back and told my buddy who gave it to me. I'm like, I don't think you realize what you had, but you got to remember, like, he was in this 5 years ago. So then, as you would know, Red Fox, like a Veta frame was not like super expensive.
Yeah, $30.
The B250s were super pricey.
$30.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing exactly what you were doing with like Claymore. Like he was putting Claymore on a bunch of all different types of hardware, CPU, GPU type of stuff, mostly CPU actually. So he was doing like CPU type of stuff, and mining a little bit of everything. And yeah, that's just kind of how I got into it. So for me, it didn't click until I got the YouTube paycheck, and it was like, oh, there's something here. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I mined my first Ethereum. I mean, it took me forever to even have an 8 gig card. I had 4 gig cards for the longest time. So I didn't really even get into the Ethereum playground until maybe 4 months ago.
Wow. Dude, that's a great story.
What's your story, Chump Change?
Yeah, so, again, like Hobbyist said, everybody comes across, Red Panda, Brandon Coin. I came across all those guys trying to figure out something to do, like I've said before. And I started off using Honey Miner. You guys ever heard of that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
so,
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I'm like, all right, like, let me try this. And it was like an auto profit switch to Bitcoin, whatever. And they actually like did the whole rig rental thing. And I didn't buy into it, but I was like, interesting. People are like renting out their rigs. How does that work? And to this day, it still blows my mind that people actually rent rigs. I still don't fully understand why. Like why you wouldn't take your money and I don't know how it works. What do they just take a cut of it? Do you guys know? Have you guys ever done that? Rented a rig?
I haven't. I was actually thinking about this the other day because there's mining rig rentals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but wouldn't it like?
I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense because you should just mine the coin yourself because that's more profitable than probably renting your rig for somebody else to mine it. Maybe not though. But that's.
So I don't know. I don't know
about that.
Yeah, I have. It blows my mind. I have no idea, but I was like, okay, so people are paying these guys or whoever's on here to purchase 1 GPU, 2 GPUs. Like, I'm like, that's so weird. Like, there's a value here, and I just don't understand it. So I just kept digging in, and like you guys or like hobbyists, anyways. I just studied. I literally watched Red Panda every day, trying to figure out like how this works. Why? Yeah, right? Like, I know I should. Like, literally, though, that's what you did. Like, I watched him, Brandon Coin. Like, I watched those guys every day to figure out what I should do. Because, I mean, I didn't intend on making a YouTube channel. That was never part of it. It was always, I just want to figure out how to make money with my computer. Like, I thought that was the most fascinating thing on the planet. But thinking back, like today when I was thinking about that question, to think about how the guys back in, 2000, say 13, 14, 15, like those guys back then, how did you like, you know what I mean? Like, how did they understand that this could be something? Like, how do you know that? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, I don't know. It blows my mind to think about that. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of all over the place when I was digging around, but eventually it came to starting the YouTube channel. I did buy GPUs before I started a YouTube channel, unlike hobbyists. But so like that gave me something to start a channel about because I was entirely green. I mean, you can look back at my other videos and it's totally terrible. I'm like so shy, no idea what the hell I'm doing, don't want to talk to a camera. It was just, oh,
so
gosh.
how long were you, just curious now, how long were you creating content before you and I sat down and powwowed and really broke down content creation for you?
Like how to do it, basically, like what I was doing wrong type deal?
I didn't say it that way, but yeah, sure.
Well, that was all right, I'll give a little background to people that didn't see the Meet the Miner. So I came to the Hobbyist when I realized his channel was doing so well in so little time. I had no idea what I was doing like incorrectly, because there is a science to YouTube that most people don't understand. It is a job, and you do need to understand like how things work. You can't just post a video and do no legwork. So
unless you're Red Fox Crypto,
or Red Panda.
Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, or Red Panda. Red Panda's the worst.
Literally, it's insane. But yeah, there's like, I mean, you know, there's SEO, what is it, SEO scores or SEO scores. But either way, you got to pay attention to like that type of stuff. So I came to the Hobbyist and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Just tell me, because I can't figure it out. Like, I literally have no idea why I'm not that good. I can tell my thumbnails suck, I know that, but that's there's no way it's just the thumbnails. And then he, you know, kind of gave me a little bit of insight on content creation in itself. And I think I was doing it, so I would say probably 4 to 6 months had to be, because I started in like, I think I started my channel in like the end of September was when I started, but I didn't make videos until like October-ish. So yeah, I think I reached out to you, you were probably a couple months in, so it's probably about 5 or 6 months.
I think I had hit like, I think I was at like 10K subs, and then you had reached out and was like, what the hell? Like, come on.
How do you do this? Yeah, like, how is this happening? And I was just so baffled. I'm like, I don't know what he's doing right and I'm doing wrong. And I know there's something, but I just couldn't figure it out. So yeah, you got to suck up your pride sometimes and just go and ask. I don't know what else to do.
YouTube's pretty crazy. Myself and Seb Heslow, and I don't think he'd mind us discussing it, him and I looked at some of our stats, because him and I kind of started around the same time. He started 1 month later than I did. And the first month, YouTube like crazy promoted our content as a new channel. And then you could see it like dip about 50% of that like promotion, and then it just levels off. Like it plateaus off and it stayed there and it's bounced around and stuff. But it's really interesting to like compare those things, like to see that like YouTube sees a new channel that is consistently publishing content, and it just like recommends it like crazy. I mean, I remember when I first started, people were like, your video was recommended to me, I don't really know why. Like, they literally left that comment. I remember this one guy's comment that was like, 4 of your videos were recommended to me. I'm not even interested in mining, but I'm watching your content. And it was like, holy cow, like that's nuts. So like YouTube is crazy. Like it's a shame, because a lot of it is, like as you said, a science, but at the end of the day, some of it's just like crazy luck. It really is.
Right.
I love when it recommends it to a gamer, and then they feel like commenting, and they just wish that I burn in hell for all eternity because I'm the worst person on the planet.
Oh my gosh.
I have so many times wanted to comment. I haven't done it, but there's so many times when I do like a farm video, like I'm reviewing, like, hey, these are the, and I want to be like, I have the same access to GPUs that you do. Why do you make
put
it
in the
sound,
work?
Why do you make it sound like that? Like I have a top secret card that gives me VIP access to like GPUs.
I had somebody message me, or not message me, but leave a comment and said like, that's my GPU, blah, blah, blah. I was like, actually, no, it's not yours. I said, why don't you just stand in line like the rest of us? And like literally every time somebody comments, I comment back. I'm like, F that. Like I've never dealt with shit in my entire life, and I'm not going to start now. So I'm going to tell you exactly how it is and where to put it. Like, so every time someone gives me crap, I answer them right back. I don't care. Like I have no remorse.
In the beginning, what I would do is just like, hey, just email me. I will help you. Like, I'll just tell you all the things I do.
Right.
You know, you just got to put in the work, and 0% of people ever got that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
never.
So I'm like, all right, dude, I'll help you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll teach you what I'm doing. I just put in the work. You got to put in the work too. You don't want to, you're not going to get it, no matter who you are.
Yep. I told someone I'd sell my white GPUs, and they complained about that rig. I was like, I'll sell you these, no problem. Like $900 a piece is what I paid for them. I'm not lying to you. Oh, like I paid $5,400 for these 6 cards. You want them? They're yours.
And the response would be, I only want to buy them for MSRP.
Oh my god. Yeah, right.
And it's like, what did I get so triggered when people are like, I won't buy a GPU unless it's MSRP, and it's like, then you won't buy a GPU ever again.
Right.
Because like,
Don't be mad at me.
MSRP anymore.
I hate when Nvidia had their last like big event. I think it was when the 3000 series cards came out, and I can't wait till they do it. They're gonna do it guaranteed with the 4000 series cards. they're gonna host their big event. I forget what it's called. If you remember, please interrupt me. But it's like, hey, we're showing off, and here's the 3060, and they like show it off. And I forget the guy, the head guy of NVIDIA. He's gonna show it off, and he's gonna be like, MSRP. I'm just imagining him. He's pointing his finger up at this giant screen. He's like, MSRP 3060, $399, and it's like, get out of here! Like, you're literally standing there telling people that you guys are selling this card for $399, but NVIDIA doesn't do MAT pricing. And if you're not familiar with MAT pricing, that means that the manufacturer forces the vendor or distributor to hold to the price that they are listing it at. So that means if they sold it, if they're selling it to Best Buy to resell, Best Buy has to sell it at $399. That's not the case. So NVIDIA literally sits there and tells their audience of gamers $399, and then they don't put MAT pricing on it, and then they release it to the world, and it's like 3060 is double that price. Like, it's just
right, and it's immediately our fault.
And exactly, it's your fault as a miner, not gamers.
Oh gosh.
I got a question.
Sure.
I know I was thinking about this as I was reminiscing, going back to the early days, but I was also thinking about me and ChumpChange both destroying the fans on our GPUs by accident. So it doesn't have to be the biggest one, but what's a mistake or an oops that you've done in mining? What about you, Hobbyist?
Oh, I need time to think about that. This was on one of my 390s, so you'll be happy about that. I went and replaced the thermal face on it, put it back together, cleaned it out, and those damn connectors for the fans that go into the motherboard. So sometimes you can like easily get them apart. Is there a better name for those other than like the little black connectors that go from the fans directly into?
I think fan connector works.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys, but like I constantly with older cards have struggles separating those. Some of them come apart real easy. Some of them don't. So the one time I pulled on it and it literally ripped we'll call it the female end on the board right off of the board with the copper as well. And there's no saving that. Like it's done. You have to have it like soldered and everything. So the guy that fixes my GPUs, I sent him a bunch of tech more recently, I was like, hey, I don't need this anymore. I just sent it to him. I'm like, hey, if you could fix it, just keep it, dude. Like, it's all yours. Like, thank you.
But that was probably,
I don't know what you're talking about. Never mind. Moving on. I got a guy. I can hook you up. He has fixed. I've sent him 5 GPUs. He has fixed 3 of them.
What? That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, so those, I took a very early on, I'd say my first 4 months of mining, I bought 2 GPUs that were, quote, broken. They were both 580s. One was a Sapphire Pulse RX 580 8 gig that I got for like $40, and the guy, and then the other one was an MSI, and I sent it to him, and I said, hey, if you could fix these, great. And the one he had said had been repaired a bazillion times. Like, he couldn't do anything for this. Like, it was missing a ton. It must have been like a donor card, is what they call them, a lot of these guys that like fix these. The other one, there's actually 3 of my cards so far that he's had to heat. And like, he doesn't use like the oven trick or like anything like that. He believes that damages it. He actually built his own proprietary like cover that covers the die and everything. And then he heats it like individually. Anyways, 3 out of the 5 cards have been corrected that way by like heating the cards strategically and methodically. And yeah, he sent it back to me, and it's mining in my rig now, the 580. So yeah, I've had a lot of them fixed and had some good success.
Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive.
But he doesn't publicize it all. Like, he's like, I don't want 1,000 people at my door. I don't want that liability. So like, yeah. But I'll hook you up.
Well, thankfully, I don't think I'll need one right now, but maybe someday. I just
I
was more shocked.
I saw Ronnie fix a card for RPM.
Yeah, it was him and Matt Electron, actually. I think Matt Electron changed the BIOS switch on the card itself.
Crazy.
I was like, what the hell? I couldn't even believe it.
So what about you guys? Mistakes. Give me your mistakes.
Yeah,
so what do you got?
Me, I guess it really wasn't a huge one, but the ZSX boards, when those first came out, I got 4 of them, right? And I was like, oh, these things are fantastic. I can't wait to run rigs off server PSUs because they were cheaper. And this is when ATX PSUs are going through the roof. So, yeah, I got the ZSX boards. They came in. They had the wires plugged into them. Like the Molex was plugged into the front spot on the ZSX board. And that's not for SATA. That's to connect PSUs. And I ended up plugging that into my H110 board, thinking that's how I was supposed to power it off of. And I'm recording everything, go to start it up, and I just see the LED flicker, and I'm like, huh, that didn't come on. Like, that's weird, right? I was like, oh, maybe something's wrong with it. Dude, I plugged in another one the same way, and I fried the second one. I was like, and then I immediately called Matt Electron, and I was like, all right, please tell me I'm not stupid. Like, what is happening? And he's like, yeah, no, you're stupid, pretty much. More or less came down to that, but he didn't say it quite like that. But you know what I mean? He was just like, yeah, you got to read the directions. I'm like, dude, it didn't come with directions. I swear to God, this came plugged in. I'm like, I swear to God. Oh, dude, it was plugged in. I'm like, damn it. Yeah, other than that, man, really just that fan that I decided to, jam my finger in when it was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
Man.
I actually super glued it. Works pretty good. I was totally shocked. Things working, man.
I can't believe that.
Dude, I couldn't find new ones. I literally could not find them. If you know where to get them, please tell me, because I'll buy a couple sets.
I gotta go look.
What about you, Red Fox?
You've
been doing it longer, so there's more mistakes for sure.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot. I'll give 3 that I've thought of.
Oh, jeez.
One is dropping my 1080 when I was redoing my basement setup right on the concrete basement floor.
Oh, jeez.
That was a bummer.
Did it work, or is it done?
I still have not plugged it in. That just sits on the shelf behind me.
Wait, what? You didn't even try it?
Good for you. Good for you.
The second, which I'm sure at least somebody listening to this has done, is plugging in the riser 1x that into the 16x slot backwards.
I remember you saying
on the motherboard.
That.
Yeah, I did that on my 13 GPU ASRock motherboard. So just fried the hell out of that slot. GPU is fine. Just fried the slot, and that's
really.
I never remember which board it is either. So I'm always, when I'm building a new rig and switching boards, I'm like, why can't I get this GPU recognized? I burned this slot like 4 years ago. The worst one I think I've done is when I didn't know that power supply cables weren't cross-compatible across brands or even within the same brand.
I did that
for the power supply. So that was in the early days. It was my old PC, and I switched out the power supplies and left all the cabling inside of it, and I was mining on this PC, and it fried the hard drive in it, and it fried my 1070 Ti in it. That I was able to RMA everything, but just like instant boom, fried, and I had no idea what I did wrong.
Wow.
What could I have possibly done? So then obviously you burn like a whole day troubleshooting, and then I found out, oh, well, yeah, these cables, they were both EVGA power supplies, if I remember right, but not every EVGA power supply is compatible with the other one. So
when you say compatible, do you mean like the wattage the wires can pull, or
it's the pinouts on the wires could be different?
Oh, right.
So
right.
Yeah. So, and I was just like fried that 1070 Ti, and I was so bummed at myself.
That's horrible.
That was probably the worst one. So don't do that, anybody.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a good thing to know, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that the pins could be different in the same type of PSU or brand.
Even
that's crazy.
On EVGA's website, like just for example, the G3 EVGA series may not be compatible with the G1 Plus series. They have it all listed out.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's interesting. That's awful, though. I would have been so mad.
I popped a ATX power supply once. Just I don't know what I did. I'm trying to remember. It was something when you had said like using different cables and stuff in it, and tried it out, and I don't know what was it. I plugged. I had two. I don't know why this power supply had an issue, but I plugged it into 240. Yeah, I plugged it into 240. I guess it didn't support it. I don't know what the deal was, but I plugged it into 240 and pop noise, little smoke came out of it. I was like, oh my god. I was like, yep. Like, we're done with that one. It wasn't mining. It was literally just like doing a build, and I ran across that, and that was definitely a mistake.
Wow.
That's the stuff you don't see in videos.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What do you mean? I know.
Yeah, I totally trashed that ZSX breakout board one because I was like, I don't even know how to, I can't even use this now. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm like so pissed off, I'm just deleting this video. I didn't even use it. Oh, it's terrible. Man, that's crazy though. That is crazy. Oh, so what do you guys got coming up next? Anything fancy in the next couple days, weeks? What's your plan for the channel? Anything good, Mr. Hobbyist Miner? We'll start with you, I guess.
We have a. I'm trying to think. So this will air on Monday. So tomorrow for our audience, this will be Tuesday. We're doing a Meet the Miner, and that'll be fun. And then I'm finally building. Red Fox, I'm finally building that, what was it, the H510 Pro motherboard, the riserless one. I'm finally building that thing. I bought all the parts. I'm going to build a custom frame for it.
Nice.
So I've never built a custom frame before, so I'm probably going to have a few Home Depot trips. But, yeah, it should be interesting to kind of build something. I mean, those are really, really traditionally meant for, like, server cases, like, the way they're designed. And so I'm going to try to build, like, a low-profile frame for it, so that'll be fun, and I'll be doing that coming up here. Outside of that, nothing else too crazy. Got some things in the works, so yeah, I'm excited for next year. A lot of, 2021 has been a really successful year for me with content creation, so it's allowed me to line some really cool things up with sponsors and partnerships and stuff like that for next year. So really excited to start getting some content next year.
Awesome, dude. What about you, Red Fox?
You're gonna be seeing a lot of server case reviews coming up on my channel. Probably 3 in the next few weeks, trying to space them out as much as possible. But I am definitely in love with those, and that will mean putting some more GPUs to work. I just counted actually tonight. I got about 13 6600s and 6600 XTs chilling down there. So just trying to find out what I want to put them in, because like, I don't know if a server case is really the best place for those since they run so low power and really cool anyway. So I don't know. I'm thinking about reconfiguring some things in the basement, moving some stuff around, and doing some experiments with airflow and all that. So I think I'll be deep in some of that stuff. And then besides that, I've just finally started. I've got a lot of requests from some people on OCTOMINER, which is the application I use in Windows. So I'm going to just do like a series of walking through that application and going through its features. So I got the first one coming up soon. Just excited to get some more content out there that people can reference over the years. So yeah, trying to do a mix of sitting down and just sitting at a computer and talking through things, and actually getting hands in hardware and just trying to get a good balance of content out there. But that's what my thoughts are right now. What about you, ChumpChange?
Yeah, I'm going the Hobbyist Miner route. I am trying to rebuild my basement, so that's going to be, interesting, I guess. I was going to do the whole...
Yours will be done before mine. It's all good.
Oh, man, I just built the wall, like, literally right before we started recording. I built a wall against, like, where my red rack used to be with my box wall. I built that wall against the concrete because I kind of hid that wall with the red rack. And, yeah, I was just too lazy to build it before, so now I'm going to try to put a door on it, get the lighting situation down there like 1,000 times better. And yeah, I took all the acoustic foam off the ceiling. I have a lot of stuff I'm going to do. Now that I did the panel, it's nice because I can actually get all my rigs here into that grow tent and not have to worry about power being an issue, or, going to service my rigs like, a half hour, 45 minutes away. So that's a huge plus for me. And really, it's just, I'm going to try to do like a new Hive OS video, because I know that's a must for like new people, because there's a lot of new people that don't understand how to use Hive OS or even how to start mining. So that's going to be like my main thing into, the new year, getting a new Hive OS, I guess, guide out, try to get a new, how to download just a normal, batch file on Windows to mine with T-Rex or whatever the case may be, just to give the beginning steps on where to start. Because again, beginning of the year, tax returns, people, they look to spend money, and 90% of the people that watch YouTube are going to run into something mining and be in my shoes or the Hobbyist Miner shoes in like, a couple months. So I could just see it happening. But yeah,
guys, Guys are good in between. Like, that's what I'm finding. It's healthy. It kind of changes up your channel, you know. I found, and that's kind of why I've done that since the beginning, is kind of mixing up, you know, if you go back, and I have a boatload of Hive OS kind of how-tos, and a lot of it was like, oh, I've learned how to do it. Okay, I'm going to create a video on it. And not only is it good from a YouTube content creation side, but it also, as you had said, like, there's a lot of new miners that have come into things over the last year, and they're constantly looking for content on how-tos. So I think we'll continue to see that in the next bubble.
I guess there's 2 congratulations in order. One, both for Chump Change. One, not dying doing that sub.
Yeah, right.
So congratulations on that, dude. And then number 2, 20K, right? 20K today, my man.
Yes, we just hit 20K. Thanks to all you guys, man. You guys are awesome. So thank you for being a part of it. You guys are great.
Oh yeah, man.
It's amazing. Actually, the Hobbyist Miner, dude, congratulations to you and, dude, all of you guys. We all just hit huge milestones, did we not? I mean, it's insane. Insane. Seb's just hit, what, 50? Red Fox, I don't remember where you're at right now. What are you at? Did you hit 50 yet?
I'm disappointed.
47.
47? All right. I couldn't remember if you hit 50 yet, but, dude, you're, like, right there. Hobbyist just hit 40. Like, man, it's amazing. It's amazing from where we started to where we are today. So congratulations to everybody. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, seriously.
Absolutely great. I guess we're wrapping up on the hour now. I do want to ask one last question just for the people, you know, around the tax space. Taxes are obviously a big thing coming up. I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking about this in the next upcoming week or so. But how are you guys planning on, like, preparing for that? Do you guys have any certain websites just like to help anybody that might be in our situation right now? To like where to go, because I mean, Red Fox, you've been doing this for a couple of years at this point, so I'm sure you have some sort of system, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure. Twofold. One is, you know, Excel or Google Sheets or whatever. I just put all of my purchases in there.
Yep.
And then as well as my electric per month that my miners have used. Those are the 2 things I'm gonna either depreciate or write off.
Yep.
And then with having that, which I'll need to input into my tax software, which is TurboTax. Then I need obviously all the trades or income that I've mined or sold, and that all goes to cointracking.info, which I've used for every single year. So it's got everything I've done in cryptocurrency for my entire life in there, every transaction. Nice. And if you need to use it, there may be a referral link on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I can put it down in the description below. I've never heard of that. I actually heard of Coinly. Is that kind of the same thing?
Probably. Back when I was there was like maybe 3 pretty big ones back when I got into it, and cointracking.info is the one that I really liked. And so that's when and then use it once. It's just got all your everything in there. So just all right. I think it's kind of like pick one and just stick with it year over year over year over year. And then that just exports, you know, you pick, you know, how, you know, first in, first out, last in, last out, all that kind of stuff that you would normally pick for like stock and all that. Export it right to TurboTax and then put in, you know, all your other information for electricity burned and hardware you want to depreciate. And then that's it. Sounds really simple, but it's just a collecting of data that is really hard. That's the hard part.
I'm more shocked that you do it yourself and you don't hire anybody to do it. So that's kind of neat. That's neat. That like, well, just honestly, it's because it is very confusing and it's very overwhelming, I guess, when you think about it. So I have an accountant for my other business, and I have to basically give them all my stuff at the end of the year. So I was planning on doing this as a separate business filing. So they're going to need all the proper stuff. So I guess I went on coinly.com and, I guess that's what Red Panda uses, and you just put in your wallet address. Yeah, #1 fan, absolutely. You put in your wallet address, and it just it reads all the transactions. I guess like downloads everything. Is that how? So it's kind of weird. Yeah, I was like, I don't understand how it works because I just don't know how it knows exactly what you're responsible for. It just blows my mind how crazy it is.
You have to remember, like, when you put in your wallet address, you know, all of that is out there on the blockchain, like all the transactions and stuff like that. So all it's doing is it just has an API call, and it reads it, and then it pulls all that data down, and then it's going to show, like, here's everything that's come in. You know, it's kind of like your incoming cash flow. Here's what has been sold. You know, and the hard part there is going to be, like, if you were to send me, like, $200, it's gonna see that as like out type of deal. So that's gonna be a challenge, and maybe you have to mark that and stuff to show like, hey, I didn't sell it, you know, directly. It was more of a transfer type of deal.
That's where you have, like it'll just suck in all the data, and you got to say this was mining, this was a trade, this was buying, and just mark each thing. But yeah, that's what those websites are great for. They're just taking all the data from Coinbase or Binance or even just the you know, my Zcoin or Firo address, and it'll take all those transactions in. And once you get it set up, it'll just do that all year. And then the only problems you run into is like if you have some cryptocurrency, like, I don't know, some really bad cryptocurrency that probably isn't supported any of that stuff that people mine sometimes. You might be putting all that in manually. That's the tricky part.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of definitely needing to be more organized for next year, I guess. Just make sure I write down everything as it goes, because, like, you know, I'm looking back into where things go, and I'm like, oh, all right, I know what this was, but what was this one? And then I gotta like hunt who I was DMing, who the hell I sent it to, and that's why I looked into the Coinly thing, and I wanted to ask you guys what you did. What about you, Hobbyist? Have you? I know you're an Excel guy, but do you?
So I think so for me, I'll be honest. Next year is more going to be my legitimacy, kind of like stepping into making this more legitimate, because this year it was kind of just like, hey, I'm going to try this out and see what happens. I think the challenge were if I wasn't content creating, I don't know how far I would have gotten into mining. I think they go very hand in hand for me. So now that content creation has really taken off, and this is a much more serious thing, the amount of money spent on it, I mean, especially with the basement and the mining room and stuff. So this weekend, it was on my to-do list, is like I need to file for an LLC and all that type of stuff, and I'm gonna go that route to try to legitimize a little bit more, especially from the YouTube side of things. That's where my biggest one is. I really want to get into, you know, mapping out and tracking. So I'm looking at a few different bookkeeping softwares to use. There's a few free ones out there that I've read some reviews on. They're really good regarding keeping track of incoming and outgoing for your expenses and for your cash flow and everything, and step up to the big boy level, you know, and treat this what it definitely is. So that is kind of my goal this weekend, actually, is to do all of that. Get that all filed. I know it takes about 30 days, can sometimes take three months. We'll see, but I'll track everything from there. But yes, that's kind of my goal now moving forward. Now that I've kind of determined, like, hey, I'm gonna keep doing this. Like, this isn't just like a quick fad and it's over.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I just figured I'd give people a little of something to look forward to in the next upcoming weeks, because everyone's going to be dealing with it, man. I mean, we're all going to be in the same boat, so we're going to have to do it. So, yeah, do things legitimately. Make sure you pay your taxes. But you guys have anything else to add, or are we good?
I think that's it for episode 3.
I'm good, man.
All right, fellas.
Great host. What a great host we had.
Obviously, dude. Red Panda's #1 fan.
Forgetting you that shirt.
But guys, I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are excellent. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Bye.